New home for the former Vikings QB is with the Seahawks. Sam Darnold signed a 3-year deal this offseason worth just over $100 million. Seattle hopes to get the Darnold we saw the first 16 games of last season. The Vikings were virtually unstoppable. Darnold was on point, but man, those last two games, Week 18, the loss to the Lions and the wild card loss in Arizona to the Rams, Darnold's off-target percentage doubled, and his QBR was a quarter of what it was the first 16 games? Darnold addressed that rough finish in an interview with The Athletic, saying, quote, "For lack of a better term, we laid an egg as an offense, and I think for me personally, that sucks. I felt like we were a really good team, but at the end of the day, and this is going to sound a little pessimistic, but when you get to the end of it and you don't win the whole thing, you failed. I feel like I could have played better, to be completely honest with you. I feel like I didn't play up to my standard. I truly feel that way. I feel like if I would have just played better, I would have been able to give the team a chance." In Darnold's defense, he was sacked 9 times in that wild card loss, Kraz. The Seahawks, they bring in Darnold, one of many changes they made to this offense. What more can you tell us about Seattle's decisions to reshape that side of the ball?
Well, the Seahawks went into the offseason expecting to be able to re-sign Geno Smith to play quarterback for them. He had 1 year left on his contract. But quickly after they got into negotiations, they offered him a deal kind of similar to, in value to what the Rams were offering Matthew Stafford, a little bit less. They got the sense quickly that Geno Smith didn't necessarily want to commit to them long term, that there was somewhere else he would rather be, and that he was willing to play out his contract and go to free agency if that's what it came to. They correctly identified the team that he had in mind and traded him there rather than wait a year and get nothing for him. So Darnold was one of the options. They looked into Justin Fields. They kicked around the Aaron Rodgers idea. But they decided Darnold at age 28, coming off the year he just had, is somebody that can build on the success he's had, the coaching he's gotten from Kyle Shanahan 2 years ago, Kevin O'Connell this past year, and continue that upward trajectory. The contract they gave him doesn't really tie them to him beyond this year, so it's just Seattle trying to look for solutions that don't involve overpaying at the quarterback position.
And a new OC as well, Clint Kubiak, a series of 1-year stays since he left the OC post in Minnesota. Passing game coordinator, Denver, San Francisco, OC last year in New Orleans. What are your expectations for the Seattle offense this year?
I think the whole thing is going to hinge on whether or not the pass protection improves. You talked about how Darnold's performance fell off at the end of last year in the playoffs. That really coincided with the Vikings' offensive line struggling towards the end. So we can explain it, but now he goes to a Seattle team that's also had offensive line struggles. They did draft a guard in the first round, but that interior still concerns me. Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator you alluded to, some of the things he does on offense can alleviate this to a degree. But we just saw in New Orleans when they lost members of their offensive line, particularly on the interior, everything fell apart too. So to me, that's the entire sort of fulcrum on which their offense hinges, or I guess is going to be based upon, is whether or not he can get good pass protection.
Yeah, you know it. I mean that it all kind of works together too, like a perfect puzzle, right? When you look at that offensive line, they didn't make a bunch of changes, but Clint Kubiak coming in, running that kind of Kyle Shanahan style offense, it's developed and designed to help mitigate some of those things. Get your offensive line moving, using those outside zones, and also go heavy play action, getting your quarterback out of the pocket, giving him clear pitches. Because with Sam Darnold, when he hangs onto the football, it gets dangerous. If you go look at those last 2 games, that's exactly what happened. He was taking too many sacks. He was indecisive. So can you get him playing fast? Can you get him making quick decisions? And can his pass catchers, which are Cooper Kupp and JSM, can they get open quickly enough for him to continue firing on all cylinders? Because I can't say out of one side of my mouth that the Vikings infrastructure was the reason for Sam Darnold's success. And then when he goes to Seattle, not say that that infrastructure needs to be there. I do think they had the makings for it. Sam Darnold's still young. I think he'll add to that and have a really good season.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.